Alright folks, Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and I alluded to this on social media, but we have this big lovely box here from WizKids covering the Fangs and Talons set for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Hopefully things are a little bit better. I swapped sides. I literally have a block of about 15 pieces of just mineral wool insulation on the other side of the table here. Like if I were to tilt this up, you can see the insulation right there, just to help deaden some of the sound, because some people were talking about some echo in the last video. And I actually do have some paperwork here as well on it that I got from WizKids to talk about. But what's interesting is this will fix probably all of your issues with any of my unboxing videos. A lot of you say you like it when I sped it up and like cut out me actually opening the boxes. I've never received this. I don't know if this is a new thing WizKids is doing, but I'm not under any embargo here, so we can go ahead and release this video. These come out on November 11th. And it says, if you are looking to enhance your D&D miniature collection with even more options for encounters in your campaigns, you'll have to add D&D Icons of the Realms Fangs and Talons to yours. From large to small, the impressive purple worm... Oh, I'm reading the purple worm section. Oh, and the variety of creatures are ready to battle. Yeah, I'm sorry. The purple worm is the case incentive for this as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and open it up, and I'll show you what it looks like inside. So, if you can see right there, we just have all... Just look at that. That is so beautiful. So what I'm thinking is, rather than me like taking them out and playing with them like this, what I'll do is I'll set us up with a rotating stand. I'll bring the camera zoomed in real close, and we can actually just inspect each one individually. And then like you can kind of see what they are, but we'll keep the mystery. And as I just take them out and put them on, actually on the stand, and we'll go from there. So first up, I thought I would start with the smaller minis to get them out of the way. And I think some of these are duplications. So we do have the Tri-Drone here. So if we zoom ourselves in real close and focus in, this is a variety of monodrone, or modron rather. It's the kind of 3-pointed piece here. You can see it's got the triangular head. Let's just try if we can get this in the center here. There we go. So you can see there we've got our 3 arms, our 3 spears, and so on. If we put that right in the middle, we should be able to spin it. There we go. We're learning, folks. We're adapting each time we do one of these. All right, so that's the Tri-Drone. Next up on the small size minis, we have a our medium size minis. These are a green hag. And you can see there she has, looks like a heart in this hand and like a skull? Ribcage flower bouquet thing in the other hand. It's kind of hard to determine what exactly that is. But, because it definitely looks like maybe it's a basket. Maybe that's a basket with like a head in it. A skull in a basket. Get this more centered in the frame here. There we go. So there's our green hag. Alright, now this is a incubus. I believe we have a succubus from one of the very early sets. And again, this is just using the standard incubus art that, sorry, I don't even know if there is incubus art, honestly. I know there's succubus art in the monster manual. There might be, I think this looks very similar to a succubus. And I believe the monster manual actually states that they can change between incubi and succubi at will. But either way, not a bad mini. You can even see, looks like he's got like some sort of little necklace going on there. And you can actually, the face, if we zoom in on the face, it's actually got some decent definition in like the eyes and stuff. It's pretty good. All right, next is a Tabaxi fighter. Okay, so this is kind of like where a leopard spotted. We've got a very bent sword, but a little hot water or a heat gun will allow us to straighten out that sword. Here with a smaller kind of buckler style shield, looks like maybe scale mail or like a brigandine. I don't know, leather armor, something like that. Okay, and then we have a banshee and this is kind of translucent looking. Now, I don't know if we've ever had a Banshee before. I know we've had Spectres and we've had Shadows. I personally don't have a Banshee mini. And this is kind of got the translucent look to it. It looks like she does. You can actually kind of see like a little bit of like red lips on her face right there. But overall, you know, I think most undead are pretty much interchangeable, especially if they're kind of ghostly looking like that. And these are, I will say, because we're about to get to it, they say they're not all the monster manual. So this is a vampiric mist, which is a pretty cool looking, like globby brain-like mist with sort of, you can see like in the front here, you can see there's like arteries running through it. And I can't remember, I think this might be either a Mordenkainen's or a Volo's Guide to Monsters mini, but either way, very cool. Vampiric Mist. We're getting, I think we're pretty much at the, yeah, we are now at the end of all of the medium size minis here. So let's go to our large size minis. Okay, so first up, we're gonna have to zoom out a little bit for this, is a gas spore. So I really like this mini. I think, like, I don't know if it's translating on the camera. I think so. It just looks really clean. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but like just the colors and the lines, everything looks really clean on this mini here. And you can see it's got all the, like, the sculpt just seems like severely improved. Like everything looks really good in this one. Next up, we have an aboleth, which is a very cool. Aboleths are one of my favorite kind of funky, weird aberration style monsters. And this one, the sculpt is really nice. The colors also look really clean on this. No, like, you know, in the past we've seen, like, I think they really truly stepped up the quality on these sets of minis. We've gotten some WizKids minis in the past with splotchy color and messy sculpts, but I think for Fangs and Talons, they really just, like, the quality has just severely increased. Just the blending, the kind of slick coating they put on it to make it sort of look like it's slimy. I'm really digging this one. Okay. We have our green slod. This is a really cool looking mini. There's a lot to kind of take in with this guy. So let's get him in focus here. But you can see he's got this big staff with all the skulls on it. He's got his big kind of barbels here. At least I'm assuming they would be barbels. That's what they're called on a catfish. And he kind of looks catfish-like even though he's a frog. He's got this kind of skull pauldron here. I mean, it just looks, I would have maybe liked a little bit more possibly definition between some of the parts of the leather on the back. But overall, I think this is a really solid mini. The only thing is I feel like with his like little bits on his chin here and his mouth, I feel like I kind of lost sight of where his eyes were. Like you can see them now when you turn him to the side, you can see the eye there, but looking at it straight on, it just kind of looks a little funky. But overall, a solid mini. And I don't know if there's many slod minis, honestly, out there. And this one's a huge one for me. This is a Marid, one of the sort of water genie. And I have every other genie. You know, Dow, Freedy, genies, or Jin rather. The only one that I'm missing from my collection is a Marid. And I think they did make one way back in one of the earlier sets. The colors just look so much more vibrant on these. Maybe it's just me. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. But yeah, I feel like just even like the highlighting and the shading, everything just looks so much cleaner on these, and I love it. Oh, grouchy fish genie. All right, then we have two very useful ones, right? We have a fire elemental. And I say very useful because having elemental creatures is useful, but if you ever have a moon druid in your party, having elemental things for them to transform into, if you're using minis, can be very helpful. And I happen to have a moon druid in one of my games, so I don't think I have a fire elemental or a air elemental, and I think I just got both of them in this set. So again, not a whole lot of definition. Actually, there actually is. I was gonna say definition, like because there's no real like facial structure for the fire elemental, but they even managed to do with some highlighting these yellow colors, really go out of their way, I feel like, to distinguish this. This could have very clearly just been like a clear blob mini, like we get with some certain other sets you'll get them just sort of clear, and they're kind of like a clear, almost like a glowing color, and then you have to try to do your best to highlight them or low light them without actually losing the clarity of the mini. So we mentioned an elemental, so this one is an air elemental. Again, very similar. I feel like even though air is, see-through, this does a pretty good job of just changing, and like the way it's swirled and the texture of it does a good job of giving it definition. And I really, really like just the way it kind of swirls up off the base here. And it does kind of have a face, sort of. I don't know if you can make that out. Focus it in a little bit. Kind of has a face, sort of, but it doesn't really need to, which is okay by me. All right, and that, from what I can tell, is all of the large size minis in here. Now we're moving into huge size minis. So first up is a U1T, I think it's Anathema. Anathema. I'll have to look at the D&D Beyond pronunciation guide, but this is basically the sort of Naga lower body with humanoid arms, but just has like almost like a Hydra's level worth of heads on the top here. And this is actually something, it's funny, I was just looking through my notes for my homebrew world of just like cool monsters from other books that I wanted to throw my players, and this was one of the ones I wanted to throw at them. You can see these top two are sort of hooded cobras, and we've got this nice defined sort of yellow stripe down the tail here and kind of leading to the yellow underbelly of the snake. And I think it's just because the art is that way, but like the white arms, I don't know if they're supposed to be like more unsettling, and I think they do have 5 fingers and they've got these little like spots on the arm. I don't know if that's supposed to like be weird, but I wouldn't have done. I don't think it's a WizKids design choice to give them white arms, but I would have probably gone with maybe the same color as like the sort of blackish brown on the back of the snake here. Focus that in a little bit. There we go. Yeah. Either way, still a very cool mini. All right, now let's see what's next. All right, this is a fire giant skeleton. We have to zoom way out for this guy. And this is, again, an awesome mini because it looks very close to the, I'm looking over, I got fire giant minis over there. He's got like even just like the facial structure of the skeleton. We've seen a lot of zombie minis. We haven't seen a lot of skeleton minis. I think we've got like the Minotaur skeleton and maybe like a couple other generic skeletons, but nothing. Mostly we have a lot of extra zombies, but like even the pitting on the skull is really, really nice. And he's got, his standard giant armor, but you can see his rib cage poking through in a couple spots and breaks in his armor, and like down here where it looks like, a thigh armor here has kind of broken away, but you can still make out the bones, and you can see here on his arm, he's got his like elbow sticking out and his big skeletal arms. And I like that they went with like a broken sword too. I thought that's really cool. This is just a really, and again, like the colors and everything look really good, and it's very, very clean. I'm a big fan of this mini. I would like to see more giant, like more skeleton minis, I guess, in general. Okay, so next up is one of my absolute favorite monsters, the flail snail. I am so pumped for this guy. Look at this, right? We've got our nice, I don't know if it's translating on the camera, I think so, like the pearlescent kind of iridescent sheen on the shell, which is awesome because that can be used to make, I think, a robe of scintillating colors. We even have like a little slime trail here, which is a nice added touch that wasn't needed. And there is, I don't know if you can see it, there is also slime down here coming off of the snail. And then we have our 5 flail heads up here, and then our little like snail, I don't know, what are they, mandibles for a snail? I don't know what you call them, but either way, this is, I can't even say like this is my favorite mini of the set because there's a lot more that I like better. But getting everything in the set means you get to see all of it, and this is definitely going to be a crown jewel in my collection that will go up on a shelf. Let's see. Then we have, what is this, a dire troll. I don't even know. We might not even be able to get him in frame. I have to pan up for this guy. So I've also thrown one of these at my party as well, and I love what they did with this mini. So a dire troll, for those of you who don't know, I don't remember a full aspect of the lore off the top of my head. And I can't remember if it's a troll that eats other trolls. It might be, actually. Or it's a troll that, like, has started to, like, fuse other parts of trolls to its body. But, I mean, look at how good this looks. Like, you've got the little faces poking out of the stomach and the chest here. All the little, like, the screaming kind of almost like agony looks on some of these trolls' faces. You've got these two little arms poking out of the back here. This other troll's face is facing the other way, looking backwards. This extra arm down here. I mean, look at this. This reminds me of one of the Friday the 13th movies. No, one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, rather. Where you see, like, the kids' like faces popping out of Freddy Krueger's chest. And that's kind of, these even kind of like with the way the sinew and stuff is on the muscles, it even gives me sort of a Freddy Krueger-ish vibe, the way the faces and stuff look. And look, I mean, you even got like a braided rope down the loincloth, a couple skulls on the belt over here. This is a really nice looking mini. They put a lot of thought and detail into what goes on here. And again, this is another one that I have thrown at my players before, and I would have loved to have had a mini to represent it. All right, we're getting to the end here. We've got a Night Walker, another one that we're going to have to zoom way out for. And then fortunately for this guy, he is mostly black in coloration, so he's going to be kind of hard to make out on a black base. But he does have this really cool translucent blue, like, fire sort of running down the back. And I don't actually remember what book this monster is in. But it's really cool. It's got cloven hoofs down on the bottom here. Can't zoom in a little bit and get a little more detail on them. But yeah, either way, I really, really like this mini. And you can see here on the front, he does have a couple different, like, little light blue eyes and his mouth there. But yeah, I really don't remember what book this is in. It almost reminds me of something that should be in, like, Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, which, funnily enough, thinking about it, interesting that Wildmount didn't get a set of minis to go with it. But either way, this one's awesome. We're getting to the final three, folks, my final three favorites. The Kieran, right, the celestial unicorn creature right here with the big, long, flowing kind of Fu Manchu mustache. It's got this nice golden scale, sort of like a dragon unicorn scale pattern coming down the sides. Got this pearlescent sheen, I know you can see that, this purple sort of chest scales. You've got this long horn on the top of these sort of flowing white locks here. This mini is just fantastic. Again, there's not a lot of celestial creatures that exist in 5th edition, and this is one of the prime examples of a really high level one. And I just love it. I love this so much. This looks so good. Ugh, fantastic. Alright, now this guy requires some assembly. Our blue dragon here. This is a young blue dragon, which is interesting to see compared to the way the dragons used to exist from WizKids. From, like, the early Tyranny of Dragons set, like, the dragons were super, super small in comparison, and they were considered to be adult dragons. And this is, like, so much bigger. So this guy, his wings come separately, so we got to go ahead and snap his wings in. And I mean, first of all, look at the detail on the wings. There is a little bit of splotching of blue color here on the wings, which is that is a little, and I don't think that exists in 5th edition, these sort of splotches on the color. So that's a little bit upsetting. But for overall, I mean, even just the sculpt of the wings look fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead, well, here we can just take a let's take a look at our base dragon before we apply the wings here. So you can see here, again, just the detail in this, the scales on the chest. the spikes running down the back here. Here's our slots for our wings. The long, you know, the muscle in the arms, even just like the tail. Look at the tail. All the different scale patterns on the tail look fantastic. And then again, the face. If you just zoom up here and look at his face, you can see all the detail in the mouth and like the eyes. Look at that. Look at, there you go. Look at that. How awesome does that look? All right, so let's zoom ourselves out a little bit, and I'll go ahead and snap in our wings here. So I'll just have these just pressure fit in. These ones also, for whatever reason, these seem to work a lot better and click in a lot better than other like separate pieced WizKids sets that I've done in the past. You guys already sort of struggle a little bit with some of the parts on the stone bridge. And like, I don't know if they just changed the material for this, but everything seems to just click in so much easier. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. That is a fantastic mini. You can't even get him all in frame because he's sticking up so high. Look at that. Like, and just like the wingspan. And again, so if I grab, let's grab like a hero mini of some kind. Here, was this a human druid? Wood elf druid? Give you a little scale comparison here. And this is the WizKids new scale for a young blue dragon. I'm gonna just go right over here to my shelf and grab you the old adult blue dragon so you can get a little bit of the scale. Where is it? Oh, I don't have it. Never mind. I thought I did. It was really tiny. I think I sold it. But these were like, this was, what is this? This was like, they actually didn't give them age categories. They just called them like dragon. So like this right here was like from the Tyranny of Dragons set. This was the brass dragon. And I think this was supposed to be like an adult dragon. And look at how big the young dragon is now. And I think part of the reason we're getting these big, massive, awesome looking young dragon minis is because WizKids has put out the white dragon mini, the black dragon mini that's coming out, and then they're doing the really big like Aventures big white dragon, which from what I can tell I should be getting and being able to review in the future, which will be really fun to do that video. But just look at this guy, man. This is, oh, look at that, like the wings on the back. Again, the blue splotching, a little bit of a disappointment, but not really that bad overall. Again, this is a wonderful dragon. Even if you were to only collect, like, not even go for the big dragons, like, this is still impressive enough at your table. Like, this looks fantastic. And we have one more mini, which I'm also very excited about. Go ahead and pop him out of his little bubble wrap case. Oh man, guys, this looks so nice. T-Rex. Oh, I mean, I'm a sucker for dinosaurs in general, but this is just a beautiful figure. Look at this. Again, you correct me if I'm wrong, but let me know if you think that like the color quality and the sculpt quality and everything just looks improved on all of these. Look at this. It is fantastic. Look at all like the lines and like the muscles in the neck and the scales on the lower jaw and the teeth and the tongue. This is just so good. Okay, like I love this mini. I mean, look at that. It's just, again, we'll put our little wood elf druid down here to give you a sense of scale. And just like even the changing in the way the scales are on like the spines on the back and the bigger scales on the legs. The little talons and like the little dew claw talons on the back here. Even his arms look like formidable. And I'm trying to think, do I have a WizKids T-Rex kicking around? I don't think I... Oh, I do. Yeah, I do. Okay, I have an unpainted, one of the older Nulzer's unpainted T-Rexes. So let's grab that real quick. Do a quick comparison in size. And see, because it looks like it's relatively the same in some aspects. Alright, so here are our two boys here, our two T-Rex boys. We've got our green one, obviously, is our current generation Fangs and Talons, and this is an older Nulzer's painted or unpainted T-Rex. And you can see the tail seems to have the same kind of structure, but I think they just really improved. Like, I don't know, this guy's like, he's got his little arm up by his ear here, like, hey, what's going on, guys? I'm T-Rex, I'm just saying hi. And this one's like, I am hunting you down. I will eat you. This looks, this position here reminds me of like right after the T-Rex breaks out of the pen in Jurassic Park and it lets out that roar. That's like what this scene makes me, this pose makes me think. And wow, folks, I am just absolutely blown away. And I do want to say once again, thank you to the team, the WizKids team and V, for sending over these minis for my review. And to get a brick of this, that's 8 individual blind boxes. A blind box will come with 1 larger scale mini and 3 smaller scale minis. So when it says larger, that means either the large or the huge size, the bigger ones. So a brick is $135.92 is the MSRP. Again, prices may vary due to your friendly local game store if you were to find these on Amazon. An individual box MSRP is $16.99. Again, it will come with 1 of the larger minis and 3 of the smaller scale minis. They did also launch dndmini.com. I mentioned this before, but you can go to the letter D, the letter N, the letter D, mini.com, and it is basically a separate portal for shopping for WizKids D&D minis. You can pick up these there. You can pick up any kind of, you can look at basically the entire set of all the WizKids products that have been released thus far. Again, release date for these is November 11th, 2020, so just a little over a month away, and the general public will be able to pick these up. And then again, the premium piece for this is a pre-painted purple worm mini, which I do have, but we're going to save that for another video as this one has gone on a little bit long. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. That's pretty much all of the minis right there in one sort of framed shot. If we push these guys back a little bit. This is a fantastic set. I don't know if that's really... Let me get that in focus. Yeah, there we go. It's just they look so good. I really truly believe that the quality of the painting and the sculpts just have severely increased for this set. I think it truly shows. I mean, just look at these. Some of these, like I said, are crown jewels for my collection. The T-Rex, the Kieran, the flail snail, and the blue dragon, just amazing. And then again, when I would do the purple worm in the next video. So once again, a huge shout out and thank you to V and WizKids for sending this over for my review unboxing purposes. I think this is a set to invest in, folks. There's some pretty solid ones in here. I think it's worth checking out. Again, because we didn't have the blind box minis in person, we couldn't look at the box and see what else was on it to see if we were missing anything else. So I went ahead and did some research, went over to minigalleries.com, and we can go ahead and take a look here. So it looks like on the side of the box, there is a Goliath Fighter, a Kobold Scale Sorcerer, a Vine Blight, a Lizard Folk, and a Door Mimic. So those are 5 smaller scale minis that you will also be able to get when we said there's 1 large and 3 small, those will be additional small scale ones. And then we do have this really nice looking red dragon, which I'm a little bummed didn't come in my set. It's another young red dragon to kind of mimic the black or the young blue dragon we got. And it looks like there is an earth and water elemental, so the full set of elementals are in this set as well. And then also an Almirage, a Burbalang, a Boggle, and a Gloomweaver. I know the Almirage is the little bunny unicorn from Tomb of Annihilation, and a Boggle is a little face spirit. I believe both of those are small scale minis. So that will kind of help pad out, and the Mule is also a medium size. So that'll help pad out the smaller numbers because we got a lot of large scale minis in our set. So again, remember, you're only going to get 1 large scale mini in a box, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we got 14 of the bigger scale minis. So that I would have had to buy 14 individual blind boxes to just get those, though I would have gotten more of the smaller minis as well. So once again, a huge thank you. Again, I said it before, but I'll say it again to V and the WizKids team for shooting these over. Stay tuned. We have a bunch more WizKids stuff coming out soon, including the Purple Worm. WizKids has delved into 2D flat pack minis, which I didn't even know was coming out. I have a whole bunch of those to review, as well as some other the next premium line of pre-painted minis. And thank you to my patrons over on Patreon for continuing to support me and the channel. And I will see you all next time.